Hello, I'm Nikki Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
The Young and the Restless spoilers. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Y&R addicts. Today is Tuesday, and I hope you are all having a peaceful week. Because after watching today's episode, my peace is completely shattered and I am an absolute wreck. I cannot believe they just did that. I am literally sitting here staring at a blank screen. My hands are shaking, and I just need to scream into the void because what on earth did we just watch? You guys, I have been watching this show religiously for years. I've been heavily invested since 2015, and I have seen some wild, heartbreaking stuff. Remember Cassie, remember Delia, but this might actually be the most devastating, soul-crushing, absolutely horrific thing the writers have ever done to us. React first, explain later, right? Well, my reaction is pure, unadulterated rage mixed with so many tears I can barely see my keyboard. Sharon, Nick, the gunshot. I'm losing my mind over here. And let's just back up for a second because I have to process how we even got to this exact moment. We need to talk about that highway scene in Las Vegas. Nick Newman, the golden boy, the moral compass of the Newman family, completely out of his mind on a lethal cocktail of fentanyl and cocaine. Matt Clark literally pumped him full of drugs to break him, and boy, did it work. But seeing Nick behind the wheel of that car, driving like an absolute maniac through the Vegas traffic, it was terrifying. He was sweating, his eyes were completely wild, and he was hallucinating. He was literally seeing Sharon everywhere on the highway. Every time a car passed, every time the neon lights flashed across the windshield, he thought he saw her face. He was swerving across lanes, dodging cars, completely detached from reality. And sitting right next to him, Adam Newman. The irony is just too thick, isn't it? Adam, the black sheep, the former villain, Spider himself, is sitting in the passenger seat screaming at the top of his lungs, trying to save his brother's life. Adam was literally fighting Nick for the steering wheel. Can we just appreciate the acting in that scene for a minute? Joshua Morrow and Mark Grossman absolutely acted their faces off. Adam is grabbing the wheel, the car is fishtailing, tires are screeching, and Nick is just roaring like a wounded animal because all he can think about is getting to Sharon and Noah. But he is so high, so completely out of his mind, that he doesn't realize his reckless driving is the exact thing slowing them down. Because every single second they spend swerving, every single second Adam had to physically wrestle Nick just to keep them from wrapping the car around a telephone pole, was a second lost. A precious, irreplaceable second. And that delay. That agonizing, drug-fueled delay. That is what is going to haunt Nick Newman for the rest of his miserable life. Because while they were fighting for control of the car, things were going straight to hell at the bottom of that cliff. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take a breath. Okay, back to the point. Let's talk about the cliff. Sharon, in the ultimate mother bear sacrifice, intentionally drove her car off a steep ravine to save Nick from walking into Matt's trap. She knew Matt had a gun. She knew Matt was tracking Nick's GPS, so she jerked the wheel and plunged them into the abyss. The airbags deployed, saving her and Noah, but knocking them completely unconscious. But Matt Clark, oh my God, Matt Clark, am I the only one who thinks this guy has officially crossed the line from soap villain to straight-up horror movie monster? Like Michael Myers level of unkillable? The man was in the back seat of a car that just tumbled down a rocky cliff. He was severely injured. But somehow, someway, this absolute cockroach manages to survive. And not only does he survive, but we have to watch him slowly, painfully crawl his way out of the twisted metal and shattered glass of that wreckage. He is bleeding, he is battered, but his sheer, psychotic hatred for the Newman family is keeping him moving. He drags himself out of the dirt, and what does he do? He doesn't check his own wounds. He doesn't try to run away. No, he pulls his gun. He pulls his gun and aims it right at Sharon. Sharon, Who is completely defenseless? Sharon, who is unconscious, slumped against the deployed airbag, completely unaware that the monster she just tried to kill is standing right outside her broken window. I was screaming at my television, "Wake up, Sharon, Noah, do something!" But they were out cold. They were sitting ducks. And this is where the timing just rips your heart right out of your chest and stomps on it. Because up on the ridge, Nick and Adam finally arrive. The car slams to a halt, dust flying everywhere in the desert night. Nick practically falls out of the driver's seat, his drug-addled brain barely registering the scene below. He sees the tire tracks. He sees the broken guardrail. He sees the wreckage at the bottom of the ravine. He starts scrambling down the rocks, Adam right behind him. Nick is stumbling. He's falling. The fentanyl and cocaine are still raging through his system. But the adrenaline of seeing that crashed car is pushing him forward. He thinks he's going to make it. He thinks he's going to save them. We all thought he was going to save them. I mean, it's Nick and Sharon. They always survive. But then, the gunshot. The sound of that gunshot. It echoed through the canyon like a cannon. It was so loud, so final, so utterly devastating. And the way the camera just froze on Nick's face. I will never, ever forget that shot. The exact moment his entire world stopped spinning. The exact moment the drugs stopped mattering. Nick arrived just in time to hear the bullet that ended it all. He didn't get to tackle Matt. He didn't get to shield Sharon. He just got to hear the crack of the gun, and then he reached the bottom. Adam is yelling for Matt, probably ready to murder him with his bare hands, but Nick doesn't even see Matt. Nick only sees the car. He rips the door open, and she is just there, her cold body. He collapses. He literally falls to his knees in the dirt and the glass, and he just breaks. It wasn't a heroic rescue. It was a complete and total failure. And the worst part? The absolute most tragic, gut-wrenching part of this entire storyline, Nick knows exactly why he was late. He knows that if he hadn't been hallucinating, if he hadn't been fighting Adam for the wheel, if he hadn't been completely compromised by the drugs Matt forced into his system, he would have been there 5 minutes earlier. He would have been there before Matt crawled out of the wreckage. He could have saved her. His addiction, even though it was forced on him, is the exact reason he was delayed. Matt didn't just kill Sharon. He made Nick complicit in his own failure. Matt orchestrated the perfect, most sadistic revenge possible. I know some people are loving this dark, gritty turn for the show, but personally, I am devastated. I mean, remember when they tried to break Nick and Sharon up for good back in the day? Remember when they put Sharon through the ringer with Cameron Kirsten? Yeah, didn't work then either. We always believed they would find their way back to each other. They are soulmates. They are chic. You do not just end chic like this. And don't even get me started on Victor Newman. If Victor hadn't interfered back at the Orange Grove, if he had just let Nick hand Matt over to the police, none of this would be happening. Victor is sitting in his cushy office in Genoa City, playing corporate games and sabotaging Phyllis's company. Completely oblivious to the fact that his meddling just cost his son the love of his life. I swear, when Victor finds out what his actions led to, I hope the guilt eats him alive. But let's be real, it's Victor. He'll probably find a way to blame Billy Abbott or something. So what happens now? I am dreading the next few weeks. You guys. I am absolutely dreading it. Nick is going to spiral. There is no coming back from this. He is already hooked on the drugs, and now he has the ultimate trauma to run from. He is going to dive headfirst into that addiction just to stop seeing Sharon's face every time he closes his eyes. And Adam is going to have to be the strong one. Adam is going to have to pick up the pieces of his broken brother. The dynamic shift is going to be insane to watch, but I don't know if my heart can take it. Is she really gone? I mean, it's a soap opera, right? People come back from the dead all the time, but the way they described it. The cold body, the gunshot, The absolute finality of Nick collapsing in the dirt. It feels so real. It feels too real. I am just sitting here, typing furiously, half celebrating the incredible acting we just got and half complaining about the emotional abuse the writers are putting us through. I need to know I'm not alone in this. Please tell me you guys are just as wrecked as I am. Because I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm just going to keep replaying that gunshot in my head, and Nick's face, and Adam's screams. This show is going to be the death of me, I swear. Wait, let's talk about Noah for a second. Noah was in that car too. Is he okay? Did Matt shoot him too? Can you imagine Noah waking up from that crash, trapped in the passenger seat, only to find his mother dead beside him and his father screaming in the dirt outside? Noah has been through so much trauma already, from losing Courtney to all the family drama, and now this. This kid is going to need years of therapy. If he even survives, what if Matt isn't done? What if Matt turns that gun on Nick and Adam right now? I am literally pacing my room thinking about the ripple effects of this. Think about Mariah. Mariah is locked away in a mental health facility right now, fighting for her own sanity, dealing with Kevin trying to send her to prison over the Dominic kidnapping. How is someone supposed to walk into that facility and tell Mariah that her mother was just murdered in the desert? It's going to destroy her completely. Her recovery will be over. She might never come back from this. And what about Chelsea? Chelsea just flew all the way to Vegas because she was worried about Adam. She's sitting in a hotel room with Risa, who, by the way, Adam totally kissed, which is a whole other mess I can't even deal with right now, and she's waiting for news. When Adam walks back into that hotel suite, covered in dust and maybe blood, and tells Chelsea what just happened, the sheer horror. Chelsea has done some awful things, but nobody deserves to be dragged into this level of a nightmare. It just makes me so incredibly angry because it didn't have to be this way. I've been a fan for so long, and I've watched these characters make stupid decisions, but Nick was finally trying to do the right thing. He was trying to be the hero. But the writers just love to punish him. They love to strip him down to nothing. Giving him a drug addiction was already a controversial choice, but making that addiction the exact reason he couldn't save Sharon. That is a level of psychological torture I didn't think daytime TV was capable of anymore. I am trying to figure out my thoughts as I type, and honestly, I'm contradicting myself. Part of me is furious at the writers for doing this to Sharon, a legacy character who has survived literally everything. But another part of me has to admit, this is peak drama. This is the kind of storytelling that wins Emmys. If Joshua Amaro doesn't get a reel out of this episode, the system is rigged. The raw agony of him dropping to his knees, realizing his own drug-addled brain betrayed him when it mattered most. It's Shakespearean tragedy. But I'm still mad. I'm allowed to be mad. I wanted a chic reunion. We all wanted a chic reunion. We wanted them to get back together, renew their vows, and finally be happy. And instead, we get a Vegas highway chase, a cliffside crash, and an execution-style shooting. And let's not forget what else is happening in Genoa City while this bloodbath is going on. Sally Spectra just had a horrific car crash in the pouring rain and lost her baby because Billy Abbott and Jill couldn't stop questioning her fidelity. Like, the universe is just deciding to punish every single woman on this show this week. Sally is bleeding out in a wrecked car. Sharon is bleeding out in a wrecked car. What is the theme here, writers? Is it just destroy everyone we love week? I am so exhausted by the heartbreak. But you know what? I'm gonna be right back on my couch tomorrow, watching to see what happens next, because I need to see Matt Clark pay. I need to see Adam absolutely obliterate that man. I want Spider to come out to play and make Matt regret the day he was born. If Nick is too broken to get revenge, Adam better step up and do it for him. Okay, I really need to go try and calm down. Share your thoughts in the comments, guys. Let me know if you're crying, screaming, or throwing things at your TV, because I am currently doing all three.